So now we're going to do a lovely little dish, which is great for a starter. And we're going to use some lovely hand-dove scallops. The flavor difference profile between a hand-dove scallop and a dreaded scallop are like peas and steak. It's so dramatic. It's beautiful, sweet. So we're going to do very little to them. We're going to shuck them. I'm going to serve it with a nice celeriac puree and some wild mushrooms and a little bit of truffle oil. And that's it. For our celeriac, so celeriac, this is this ugly looking fella here, and it's a member of the celery family, hence the name. And what we're going to do is we are going to cook it off in a little bit of milk. So you just need to clean it down of all the outside of the root. Just make sure you get all the little dark brown bits out. I'm going to dice it quite small so that it cooks in real time while we're shucking the scallops. Again, the puree, the celeriac puree can be made up in advance the day beforehand. It's got a beautiful smell to it. Really smells like the season. Now, there's our celeriac. Some milk. I'm just going to pop a little piece of greaseproof paper over the top of this so that the top of them don't discolor. And we're going to put them on a low simmer while they cook. So these are lovely hand-dove scallops. There's a connective tissue muscle just here. We're going to try and take our knife and across the roof of it, slide across the top of it. Put it both side down and use a tea towel because it's much safer. And you're looking for a knife, something almost the same width as it. So if you just go in and just give it a little loosen. Like that, and that will basically, now, that's our scallop chuck. Just use a spoon and you just take away from the bottom of the shell like that. Now, this around here, the outside is called the frill, and you should really, really retain this and use this for stocks and for soups. It's absolutely delicious. But if you just pull all that away, you have your roe here, which you'd recognize from normally. Now we are going to use the roe in this dish. As often it's thrown away and discarded, but it's a beautiful part of the mollusk. Okay, so our celeriac should be just about ready now. So it's just soft to the touch. It's a lovely, deep, earthy smell coming off it. Now we don't want all of this liquid because it will just be too runny. So we'll just take some of it and we can add more in, but you can't take it away. I haven't added any salt or seasoning to it at this stage. We'll do that when we finish off this celeriac puree. Just a little bit of liquid just to help it start. So you really want to blend this really, really well. Okay, so our celeriac is now nicely pureed. I'm just going to add it to a little pot here and leave it aside for a few moments. We're going to finish it with some butter and some seasoning now in a few minutes time, but it's time to get our scallops and our wild mushrooms on. Okay, so while we have our pan here absolutely getting to nuclear temperature, we're going to season up our scallops. So again, I'm using some rapeseed oil. Again, really lovely high flash point. And I'd always oil the seafood and not the pan, and then it won't stick on you. You should get a really nice caramelization. If you've noticed, I've kept the roe separately because of their size and the fact that they're much smaller. They'll cook at a different speed than the rest of the scallops. We can have a lovely caramelized scallop on the outside, still nice and rare on the inside. And then at the last minute, we'll pop in our roes to cook them off. Shake down. You might be tempted to start shaking your pan around and things like that. Don't. All it does is dissipate the heat. So 6 lovely scallops there. These scallops will only take a couple of minutes on each side. What you're trying to do is get a really nice caramelization on each side. So all the sugar starts coming out and they go lovely and golden brown. But they should be starting to turn now. So you can see now we're beginning to get that lovely crust on the outside of it. Now while these are just coming up to temperature, I'm going to get our celeriac, pop it on here and start warming that through. These guys here are just a couple of seconds off being ready now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some wild mushrooms into our pan here. I'm going to reduce the temperature of the pan and go in with our butter. A really nice squeeze of lemon juice. You can see that's now gone into a beurre noisette, so a brown butter, and now just pop in our roes. So I'm going to transfer these now just to a little dish here, just let them rest for a moment. Like any meat, anything you cook at a vigorous high heat, it needs to rest for almost equal time that it was cooked for. And now we can finish off our celeriac. So a little bit of butter. A light bit of seasoning. Once the butter is fully melted into it, it starts to go this lovely glossy, we know it's ready. Okay, so to finish off this dish, once we plate it, we're just resting now at the moment, we're going to make up a little light herb salad with the truffle oil. So a little bit of chervil. Again, it's all your light herbs, so you can use any light herbs. Just stay away from the woody ones like rosemary and thyme, because they can be very overpowering when it comes to seafood. A flat leaf parsley, lovely. Got a few little garden radishes here as well. The radishes are really nice for the little peppery kind of hit that they will give. Into here, little squeeze of lemon juice, a tiny touch of the truffle oil. If you can't get truffle oil, you can always use a good rapeseed oil or a good olive oil. Cold press, first press. The truffle oil does add that depth of flavour to it though. So plating can be very much down to your own individual style. The main thing is just not to overthink it. Getting your lovely little rose, which adds such a little depth of flavour to it. So now just your nice little herby salad with your lovely truffle oil. That's it. And there you have it. Hand dove scallops with celeriac puree, truffle and wild mushrooms.